why the Browns drafted him. It was whether he'd even get a fair shot to prove himself. The Shedor's draft slide was the shock, then walking into Cleveland's quarterback room was the reality check. Because this wasn't a welcoming committee, it was a crowded house. On paper, here's what he's up against. Joe Flacco, the battle-tested veteran who still commands instant respect in any locker room. Dillon Gabriel, the Browns' other rookie quarterback, drafted before Shedeur, and already seen as the system guy for Kevin Stefanski. And then Shedeur himself, carrying the weight of his name, his following, and the non-stop media spotlight. That's not a depth chart, it's a collision course. Every rep in practice becomes a competition, every misstep is magnified, and every coach's decision feels like it's about more than just football, it's about politics. This is where the situation turns volatile.
Person that understands business and he will trade.
It's about politics. This is where the situation turns volatile.
Person that understands business and he will trade.
It's about politics. This is where the situation.
Card, the former Colorado star, let it be known that he didn't want to be on a roster with Lamar Jackson, where he will be a backup. Another story from another anonymous source, man. What's going on? From Shedor's perspective, right? Obviously, a lot of people thought he was a first-round pick. He slipped in the draft, went to the 5th round, but he had the mindset that he was going to come in there and compete for a starting job. And he knew going to Baltimore, he pretty much had no chance, right? Lamar Jackson is 28 years old in the prime of his career, 2-time MVP. I know some may argue Lamar Jackson's play style makes him age in years because most guys who play like that, dual-threat guys, don't really play.
5th rounders usually come in as developmental players given time to grow quietly in the background. But Shedeur isn't just another 5th rounder. He's a brand, a headline machine, and a lightning rod for fan expectations. That changes the math entirely. Inside the building, there's no hiding from that spotlight. If he takes third-string snaps, fans will notice. If Gabriel gets the nod before him, fans will rage. And if Flacco stumbles, you can bet the first chant at the stadium won't be next man up. It'll be "We want Shedeur." For the Browns, it's a high-wire act. Play him too soon and risk the growing pains. Sit him too long and risk an explosion from the fan base. And for Shedeur, every single day is an audition, not just for Cleveland, but for the entire league watching how this saga unfolds. And that's where the rumors of an alternate timeline come in. Because as wild as Cleveland's QB room looks, the story almost went a very different direction. As if Cleveland's quarterback puzzle wasn't complicated enough, another storyline cracked open on draft weekend, a story that sent shockwaves through NFL circles. According to multiple reports, the Baltimore Ravens were ready to take Shedeur Sanders with pick number 44 in the 5th round. The only reason they didn't, word supposedly got back to their front office that Shedeur didn't want to land in Baltimore because that would mean sitting behind Lamar Jackson with no real path to playing time.
Now, let's pause here.
That's not confirmed fact. It's a report, one that Sanders himself later had to address publicly. And like all good NFL rumors, it spread faster than game highlights on Twitter because fans love the idea of a young star shaping his own destiny. But here's the thing, whether you believe the story or not, perception matters. A rumor like this paints Shedeur as more than just a draft pick. It paints him as a power player, a quarterback who knows the weight of his own brand and isn't afraid to steer the narrative. And once that perception takes root, it changes the way teams, fans, and even other players talk about him. Imagine the alternate timeline for a second. Instead of wearing orange and brown, Shedeur could have been holding a Ravens cap, joining one of the most stable organizations in football, learning behind an MVP, and waiting for the spotlight to arrive naturally. Instead, fate and maybe a little rumor-driven chaos pushed him into Cleveland, the one franchise where waiting feels like a death sentence. For Browns fans, that report was salt in the wound. It made the whole pick feel less like a win and more like a consolation prize, like they only got Shedeur because he didn't want to be anywhere else. And that's the danger of NFL gossip. Even when it's unconfirmed, it reshapes the story, because now instead of just asking how Shedeur fits in Cleveland, the question became, did he even want to be here in the first place? If there's one man who feels the weight of this entire saga, it's Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. On the surface, he's the calm, clipboard-carrying architect of Cleveland's offense, but behind